Hello student, I hope everybody is fine and taking care of your health. You must consume nutritious diet containing vitamin A, C and you should also go for sunlight to get vitamin D also because these things build up your immunity. Okay, as you can see in the screen that we are going to study about synthetic fiber and plastics, okay? And these things do make our life easy and approximately we use them in every part of your living nowadays. So, in this particular topic we are going to use lot many terms. So, one of them is polymer and the new term is polymerization. Okay, just write it down. Polymerization, okay, polymerization. So, we will deal about these terms as we proceed in the tutorial, okay, polymer and polymerization, and we will see that how these terms are related to our topic called plastics and synthetic fibers. Now, first of all you should know that we do have two types of fibers, okay. So, one is of course synthetic fiber, other is natural fibers. So, first let us see what are natural fibers. So, as the name suggests, these are those fibers we obtain them from either plant or animal source, okay. And these fibers we obtain them from plants are also referred as vegetable fibers. So, such as cotton, you might be knowing about it. So, it is a natural fiber. Now, then what are synthetic fibers? So, in case of synthetic fibers, we have something different here. So, underline it now. They are obtained from chemical processing of petrochemicals. So, we will read about petrochemicals in coal and petroleum chapter. For time being, you should know there is some substance of chemicals called petrochemicals, okay. And the synthetic fibers are then woven into fabrics just as we do it with natural fiber, and they have got wide range of applications in our daily life, such as we make articles like rope, buckets, furniture, containers, you can name them and the list can go on and on. Even you can say they are used in the making of aircraft and ship and spacecrafts. So, you can see their application is wide. Since they are made by us, so we call them as man-made fibers, okay. Synthetic fibers are called man-made fibers. Now, let us see that what type of synthetic fiber we are going to study today. So, we have got these names that you should be knowing about. One is called rayon, write them down in sequential order, polyester, nylon, acrylic and ultimately the plastics. So, these are the some types or kinds of synthetic fiber that we are going to read about. Now, the question is why we want them. So, there are some properties of synthetic fibers which make them more popular. So, some of them are they quickly dry up. So, as a result they are easy to wear as well as to use it. So, these synthetic fibers dries easily after washing. Number 2, they are durable, that means they can last for a long period of time. As a result, they are quite used or being used throughout the world. Then they are less expensive, that also make them suitable for us. Then as they are readily available, so you can purchase them throughout the season, throughout the year, and they won't need extra cost for maintaining. So, as a result, they are also called wash and wear material, directly you can use them, hence they are popular. Now, let us read one by one. The first one that is in your textbook is rayon, okay. So, this is basically a semi-synthetic fiber because we use the wood pulp in making it, okay. They are obtained from, underline the word, obtained from wood pulp and then they undergo the processing of making it. So, we also call it as a artificial silk because they have the features of silk also. Then underline the second one, it is manufactured by regenerated cellulose fiber because as I have told you they are obtained from wood pulp also. So, they have manufactured from regenerated cellulose fiber. So, that term should be known to you, and since they resemble the artificial silk, or they are silk, so they are called artificial silk also. Then they have lot many properties for them, and they are quite usable and quite widely popular also. So, rayon is mixed with cotton, the natural fiber, and we use that material in the making of bed sheets, basically more or less, and when they are mixed with wool, so they are being used in the making of carpets. So, write down these applications or properties of rayon. Then they can be easily dyed in the color in which you want. They provide us comfort. So, they are smooth, soft and cool. So, they are highly absorbent, underline these points. So, because of such properties of rayon, they are quite familiar and quite famous in the industry of fiber market. Okay. Then number 2 is nylon. Okay. So, this fiber is basically is used in every aspect of our living life. So, this is the word obtained from 2 words. Okay. So, NY for New York and London. So, this fiber was marketed in these 2 cities, and hence the name got nylon for it. So, underline that number, New York and London. So, now let us see how they are made. So, this is important one. So, make sure that you should write it properly. So, it is made from coal, water and air. Underline the components. And it was made first time in the year 1931, and it has ability to be lustrous because it shine or give you a look, and it is hence used for clothing industry, and it has a high tenacity strength. So, because of high strength they are durable. Then they have got excellent abrasion, underline the word excellent abrasion resistance, underline the word abrasion, ARASION. And what it means? It means that no extra care is required for them. So, it is rough and tough type of fiber, and it also has some property of heat resistance. So, as a result they are widely preferred, and moreover the insects and fungi animals, or they won't get attacked by these things. So, they are also resistant to them, and there's because of these huge properties they have got quite a huge or big applications of it. So, because of the high strength of this particular fiber, they are used for making fishing nets, parachutes, bags, ropes, and they are used in the various making of manufacturing of various machine parts, and they are also blended with wool to increase the length, increase the strength and good market value. So, you can see nylon itself has got a maximum applications for that. Now, something called new term for you called polyester. Okay. So, this term is of course a bit more difficult as well as new to you people. So, please make sure you should know what it is. So, polyester again is a new word, and it is again made up of 2 words. So, one is poly, poly means many, okay, many, and ester is a group of compounds that we will study in standard 10th. So, we combine, or they have got a long chain of ester group. So, we call it polyester. So, it is obtained again from petroleum, and a category of polymer which contain in that we have just told you called the ester, and in your book you have some name that you should be knowing quite, and you should practice the name also. The one is PET. Okay. So, write down the name or the full form for PET. It is called polyethylene. Write it down because this word is new to you. Poly, okay. Poly is many. Ethylene is a molecule. ETHYLENE. Polyethylene. Okay. And T stand for terephthalate. Write down the word TEREPH, terephthalate, THALATE. So, these are new terms for you people, and the names are mentioned in your textbook. So, make sure that you should know the full form of these molecules, as we have done the name called 4D in chapter 1. So, PET, polyethylene terephthalate, is one of the common use polyester. As I have told you, the polyester is nothing but polymer, and since polymer means many, so it consists of lot many single units. Okay, these single units is called monomers. Monomers. And when we combine these monomers to form polymers, that process is referred as polymerization, which I have already told you in the beginning of the chapter. So the monomers are combined to form polymers, okay, and that process in which we do this is called polymerization. So write down this word, polymerization. Then come the what are the properties of these polymers. So they have a huge property for it. Number one, they are very strong, as they are durable and they won't get easily shrink. So these fiber won't shrink easily, okay. So as a result, they are quite applicable in this fiber industry. Then of course they retain their stripes, so normally they won't wear out so easily, and they are easy to wash and dried. So these are some of the properties of polyester. Because of such properties, they have got a maximum application in our life. So number one, they are used for the making of polyester suits. Then they are also used in the manufacture of ropes. Basically, we use it for rock climbing. You might have heard the word rappelling, वगैरह. So they are used in the making of ropes. Then of course, we have just read about the PET bottles, PET. So these are those bottles in which you have all those cold drinks things stored in that. So hence you can see they have got very good application in it, and as a result they are used for polyester mat and polyester ropes also. So basically their application is wide. Then the next fiber for us is called acrylic. Write down the word acrylic. So these acrylic fiber is again referred as artificial wool, okay. So it has a feeling of wool, so it is called artificial wool. And underline these properties of acrylic fibers. So number one, they are warm and lightweight, they are soft and flexible, and most important that they are resistant to attack of moths and chemicals, and it gives you a feeling of wool, and hence they have got quite a good application. And one of the important feature is that they won't shrink, okay, and they are wrinkle resistant, so they won't wrinkle out easily. So acrylic. So in your book, make sure that you also have lot many examples of polyester. So one of them or some of them are, so write it down, polycot. So check out these books and read out them name quite closely. Then polywool, so these names are mentioned in your respective box, and the terrycot, okay. So terrycot. So write down the name TERRY, terrycot. So these are some of the type of polyester. So it is made up of polyester with wool, so we get polywool. If you mix with the polyester with cotton, we get polycot, and similarly with terylene and cotton, you get terrycot. So these are the words mentioned in your textbook, so please make note of it, read them properly, and write them in your respective notes copies, all the types of polyester. So continuing with the acrylic, so which I have told you the properties, and because of those properties we have applications here. So we are basically used in the making of sweaters, blankets and other things, jackets and shawls, all we use in the winter days. Then they are also used in the lining of boots and gloves, so they have got a massive application. And they are also used in the craft yarns, boat sails or vehicle covers. So you can see more or less we use all these things in our daily life. Now as I have told you regarding polyester, so these terms which are now coming up. Now you should know the examples. Now you should know just part that what these fibers are basically made up of. So in synthetic fiber that we are going to study plastic, the next one, as I have told you, they are consisting of one unit called monomers, and these monomers are combined to form polymers through a process called polymerization. Okay. So monomers combine to form polymers. So polymers, I have told you, poly means many and mers means units. So it is a combination of lot many mers called monomers, and the process is called polymerization. So please make sure this word is coming too much in this whole textbook. Now continuing with it, so we just have read about those polyesters, and as I have told you that they have quite a good properties. So they are durable, they won't wrinkle out easily. We already have told about the word called PET, polyethylene terephthalate. So make sure you should write these names, and we read about their applications. And we already have told you about the term called acrylic. So make sure that you should know their name or definition and the applications. Now we just want to have some features that why we use synthetic fiber, what are their plus point or characteristics. So first one, of course, they are stronger and more elastic, and they are more durable, and they are color resistant. That means they won't fade easily. As I have told you, they are wash and wear materials, so they won't need more caring about it. They won't shrink, and similarly they are resistant to attack of moths and insects and other things. So that gives them a quite a big significance or weightage over the other natural fibers. But you know, if there are significance, there are some disadvantage also. So write it down that what are the disadvantage of synthetic fibers. So number one, so they can't absorb moisture. As a result, it is not comfortable to have the clothing made of them during the summer days. Then number two, it is dangerous to wear them when we are near fire, because it can catch fire very easily. So that is one of the big disadvantage, as they can't be easily ironed because they melt very fast. So these are some of their drawbacks, but the other significance points are more, so hence they are used worldwide. Now come the second topic under this heading. Apart from those fibers, now we have something called plastics. Okay. Now underline the word what plastics are and how they are made. So these plastic materials are obtained even from natural materials like cellulose, coal, natural gas, salt and crude oil. Okay, underline these components: cellulose, coal, natural gas, salt, crude oil, and again through a process called polymerization. So as I have told you, this word polymerization is the big term for these plastics making also. Now in case of the use of plastics, we do have that they are poor conductor of heat and electricity. So we can use them in the making of electrical wires. They are resistant to chemicals and water. And number next, they are lightweight, they are strong and durable. So they are lightweight, strong and durable. So they are used for making lot many parts of machinery as well as avionics industry, where they make airplanes. Now in our syllabi we have some of the types, though we have lot many types. In our book we have two main types that you should be knowing about. The one I have just told you, PET, called polyethylene terephthalate, and other is PVC. Okay, so write it down. PVC stand for polyvinyl, VINYL, polyvinyl chloride, CHLORIDE, polyvinyl chloride. So these two terms and names must be known to you because they are written in your textbook. Okay, one is PET, other is PVC. Now before going further into plastic, you should also thank the gentleman who gave it to us. So underline the name for your information sake, that his name was Alexander Parks. Okay, sometimes we also pronounce as Parkes, but it's better Parks. So Alexander Parks is the gentleman who introduced this word in way back the year 1862. Okay, on his name we have this term called plastics. Then basically in your book we have two main types of plastics we are going to study. One is called thermoplastic, other is called thermosetting plastics. Okay, underline both the name. So one is called thermoplastics and other is thermosetting. Write down the word thermosetting. So we'll read about them in detail as the tutorial proceed. Thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. Okay. Now before we go into detail, you should know some examples of these. So though we have just told you some name, again for your reference, one was PET. As I have told you, this chemical is used for making all the bottles in which we have carbonated drinks and other microwave packaging. Then second was, the name will coming now, is third one, underline the word called Teflon. You might have heard the word Teflon. So they are they are coated on your respective frying pans. So they are non-sticking surfaces. They are heat resistant. So underline the third name, again full form is required, Teflon. Underline the word polytetra. So these terms are new to you. So again ask you to let you know or let you that please write these names properly in your copies. Okay, polytetrafluoro. Write down the word FLUORO. Okay, FLUORO, fluoroethylene. So write down the whole name, polytetrafluoro ETHYLENE. So you can see the names are a bit more difficult for you. So you have to practice it many times. So in case of this Teflon, the chemical name goes for like that. Okay. So polytetrafluoroethylene. So one was PET, other was Teflon. Now let us see about the two terms that we have just told you. So sometimes we ask you why plastics are called plastics. Okay. So sometimes we do ask you. They are called plastics because they have a capability to be molded and shaped again. And when a substance, when we heat them, we can have molding into various shapes, and again we can heat and remold them on the application of heat and pressure. The substance, those who have such type of properties are called plastics, and the property is called plasticity. Plasticity. Okay. So this is the property by which we can mold the substance on heating. So write down this term again and again, so you can know that what the meanings are. Okay. Now let us read about the two terms that we have told you, thermoplastics and thermoset plastics. Okay. These two terms. So write down in proper copy in proper format. And before we know the difference, there are some examples. Underline the examples for thermoplastics. So example is polystyrene, we have just read, Teflon, acrylic and nylon. So they are all thermoplastics. Okay. And all these terms should be known to you in complete detail, right from polystyrene, Teflon, acrylic and nylon. So they are all thermoplastics. Okay. And in case of thermosetting plastics or polymers, we have some name. One is called bakelite. This term is also mentioned in your textbook. Another is called, underline the word, polyurethane, if you remember the word, but even if you remember about bakelite, it is more than enough. So that is thermosetting polymers. Okay. Other is epoxy resin. It is also a good name to learn about. Epoxy. Okay. EPOXY. Epoxy resin. So you can have this word in your reference material. So they are thermosetting plastics. Okay. Now let us see what they actually are. If you want to know that what these plastics or thermosets and thermoplastics are. So underline this definition. So, in case of thermoplastics, they form long linear chain, okay. So, they are binded end to end in a straight line more or less, while in thermosetting plastics, so they have a network, okay, three-dimensional network structure. They have a three-dimensional network structure. But most important point is thermoplastics, as they are concerned, they are softened on heating and stiffened on cooling. Okay, so when you heat them, they become soft, while when you cool them, they stiff up. But thermosetting plastic, they do not soften on heating. Underline this word. So they won't soften on heating. So thermosetting plastics, okay. So or thermoset plastics. For thermoplastics itself, the other difference is you can mold them the way you want. In thermosetting, you just can't mold them because they won't get molded on heating. Then the thermoplastics are usually soft or less brittle. The thermosets are usually very hard, very strong, okay. And the last point you can write for memory is they are soluble in organic solvents, thermoplastics, okay. So this again term we will be using in coming chapters, organic solvents, while thermosets are insoluble, okay. So as you can see, these two terms are quite common and written in your books in very good manner. So in case of the fiber that we have read about, I have just told about, call the word melamine, okay. So write down that word melamine or melamine or melamine. So this is again heat resistant. So as a result, these synthetic fibers are basically used by the various field gentlemen or the work people such as firemen when they use a special dress code for that, okay, for fireproof. So their whole material, this material is made up of melamine. Then the last topic of this particular chapter, you just check it out on the last pages. So they have written something called 4R, okay. So 4R stand for, sometime we do ask you in this questionnaire. So write it down. First is reduce, so that we should not pollute the nature more. Then reuse. So first is reduce, then is reuse, then the term is that should be known to us and it is a good boon industry for country like us, called recycle, okay, recycle. And the last one is recover. So again, please go through the video and write down this term properly, and make sure you write down them in the notes copy and make your notes copy in proper way, because I am going to ask about the submission in due course of time. And in the meantime, take care of your health. Bye.